Most modern cars come with features that used to be luxurious, but now they're just essentials. I'm talking about things like heated seats, Apple CarPlay, and a reverse camera. This MX-5 I've just rebuilt for my partner doesn't have some of these must-have features. And the infotainment screen is cracked. And for her, all these small things are quite a big deal. She's coming from a car where the radio doesn't even work. If I'd gone to the dealer, all of this was going to cost $1,000 in parts plus labor. Instead, I bought it all from AliExpress for $206, 80% less than what Mazda wanted. It's not just a quick upgrade, the entire interior needs to come out. And this all started because I already have to pull the interior out to get to the airbag module. Let's start there and repair that module. We've got a lot to do, but now that we've got brand new hood actuators, we're gonna plug them in and just see if that's gonna fix our issue with the airbag light. Okay. Oh well, gotta replace the airbag module. Now the airbag module itself is actually just under here, which is quite annoying. We've got to take off essentially this whole center console and all of the trims around here, including this, to pull this off to get down there. To start, I moved the chair forward just to get access to everything. The interior is held together by all these little pop clips that are pretty easy to get out with your fingernails. Then it was the plastic piece that covers the roll bar. That was ridiculously hard to get off, and I tried really hard not to scratch it. Once it was off on both sides, damn, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. I moved on to taking the little bits of trim out and tried to pull the centerpiece out, but quickly I realized to pull that centerpiece out, I have to take the center console out as well because it's sitting underneath it. Don't try and skip steps, I'm just pulling this off, and I just yanked this centerpiece out, and when I did that I realized that there's two screws holding that in, and I'm just yanking on this piece, essentially breaking it. Unplug the connector, and it's out. And with that out, it finally gave us access to the airbag module. This is exactly what we need. I don't know what this film is, but this is the airbag module that we've got to get out and get repaired. So we've got 1, 2, 3 bolts and 1, 2, 3 connectors in there. And if you're interested, the seat belts, which are fine on this car, are here. Ow! Oh! Oh! That got me good. That's gonna bruise. That's gonna bruise. That hurt. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Wonder what that's for. This actually I think is for the CD player that comes in some models. Interesting. Now that we've got everything disconnected, let's undo all the bolts and pull the airbag module out. And airbag module out. Let's get this fixed, and as soon as we're back, we've got a brand new screen, Apple CarPlay, and a reverse camera that I'm really excited to wire in, even though we're gonna have to drill into the bumper with this thing. And we are here. There's not many people that actually do these sorts of repairs in Australia. This guy had no reviews at all. Like $170 odd, so I mean, let's see how we go. Just rocked up to Daniel and Robert. They're from Carnostics, and they're gonna help me reset the permanent stored crash data on this airbag sensor.
So when a car's in an accident, there's hard codes and soft codes, but when the airbag goes off, the hard codes get stored inside the airbag module, and a normal scan tool can't clear it, so we have to manually clear the hard codes. The crash data is stored in that EEPROM right there.
This was actually pretty cool. I got to see what I guess most people don't get to see, how they're actually doing it. I can't show you too much here, obviously, but it was really interesting to me to learn anyway. We are back home and we've got our SRS airbag module repaired. Now, let's get this in and test it. So now I'm getting nervous. I've definitely never tried to fix any sort of modules, so if this doesn't work, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. We've got everything connected up. We're gonna put the fan module back in and connect up the mass airflow sensor to make sure everything checks out. And then we're gonna try and start it and see if that active bonnet light goes off. Pop. Everything plugged in. On, and the light. Lights off. How good's that, huh? Just to give you a bit of context, this is the last thing I've got to fix, and this is the car that it's replacing for my partner. And yes, even though this still needs a fair amount of work in terms of painting and things like that, this is mechanically. And then I got to let her know.
That's that. Oh my god!
It's like ready to go back together.
Really?
Yeah,
It fits.
it's fixed. That made me happy. But even though the hard part's done and it's a lot of stress off, we still have Apple CarPlay and a reverse camera to put on this thing, so let's get cracking. We have some things to install. This is actually a digitizer that's going to replace the infotainment screen because that one has a slight crack in it. This is going to give us Apple CarPlay, and this is a reverse camera. To put Apple CarPlay in this car, we have to replace this piece just here. I've got the replacement piece on the bonnet there, but we have to take out pretty much everything from this side of the dash onwards, including this and the gauge cluster housing. But the very first thing is we need to check on the infotainment what version it's at, because if it's not at the version where they had Apple CarPlay, we're gonna need to update it. And I think this needs to be at version 70. Okay, OS version 55. I am following a tutorial for this by Kunzi Does Stuff. Now I put the update on a USB, and for some reason I couldn't figure out how to get it to recognize on the infotainment. I tried for so long that eventually this happened. I ended up draining the battery. I have no jumper cables and I've got no battery charge up. I really needed that to work. After a fair bit of stuffing around, I finally got the infotainment to accept the USB that I was using, ran the update through, but it was going to take a while. I was just hoping the battery wasn't going to go dead flat, because I don't know what happens if it goes flat and it's trying to update. I definitely don't want to break it. While we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and rip apart the rest in the interior to install everything else. This car is in pieces. I've got like not really much of the interior in it. Anyway, the plan is reverse camera obviously needs to get connected to that MMI screen, right? So we're going to thread everything up. I've got to take this trim off, everything up through there to the MMI screen. And then we're going to thread it all down this, down here, up here, through the back, following this loom, out of this hole in here, wrap around here, and then it's gonna sit just under here on the bumper. And there we go, updated. I'm just curious to see if this has drained the battery. Start it up. Honestly, I'm very surprised by that. All right, let's keep going. Pull this whole thing out. It feels like it's stuck on something. Now that this is out, we're gonna take it inside to where things are a little bit cleaner to replace the digitizer, the cracked screen there. I've got the new digitizer. I've got me YouTube video to watch how to tear this down. I've got some razors to be able to peel the digitizers off this actual chrome trim piece. Let's give it a shot. Even though I've just pulled this out the car, I still need to disassemble this entire thing because the screen is pretty much the very first thing put on. It might not look like it, but this is what I was actually dreading the most out of doing all of these interior bits and pieces. When you're dealing with an LCD screen that's glued on, it's really easy to crack them. They're super fragile, and I knew that going into this, having done something like this before on game consoles. But I tore it all down. I absolutely matted the original screen, but it didn't matter because it wasn't being reused anyway. I just had to be super careful not to ruin that chrome trim piece because I do have to reuse that. And when I was finally done with it, it looked like this. Check that out. Perfect. Okay, I think I've plugged everything in for this to work. Before we go any further, beautiful. Works. Now let's figure out the Apple CarPlay situation and how the hell we're gonna run this reverse camera. So this is actually the Apple CarPlay. Essentially all we do is replace the piece in here. It looks exactly the same. It's got some USB-C on the front instead of normal USB. You can see here on the back there's 2 connectors instead of 1. On the infotainment system, we need to plug in 2 new cables for the extra cable spots on the Apple CarPlay. And then I've routed the wires down right in that corner, and they've come right out this corner on the driver's side. Now let's start the reverse camera. This is the wire that I've got to run from the infotainment system to the boot. I've got a rough idea. We're going to tuck it away up here. I've got to run it right through there. Problem is when you try and push the wire through, it just gets stuck and it bunches up. You can't get it through. But what I did manage to get through was this. This is like a TV cable. So I'm going to duct tape the wire to this and then push it all the way through. Into the abyss we go. Ah! Homemade. As I was laying here, I also realized that underneath there was some forklift damage to one of the control arms. It is very, very bent, the one very closest to the floor. We'll have to address that at some point. I'm not sure if that's going to stop it getting past its wovey, but we'll see. Ignoring that for the time being, after threading the wires through, camera is in. We've got 2 connectors that come all the way from the head unit that plug into the reverse camera, and we also have to do a bit of soldering. So with a bit of a hand, I soldered the back wires on, then we sat in the front of the car and soldered the wires to the head unit. All right. At this point, it was time to actually test out what we've done. I think everything that's plugged in that needs to, we're gonna test the CarPlay and the reverse camera. Let's test the reverse camera. Wow! All right,
Wow, that's really good. Wow.
let's test the Apple CarPlay. Hang on, let me get a phone. We'll Bluetooth to this thing. It's like an aftermarket.
What did I get? Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, that's so cool. I had no idea what he was installing. I thought you were just giving me Bluetooth. Because I've had an aux cord for so long.
Oh my god. We finally have everything that we bought for the MX-5 in the MX-5. Just not a lot of other pieces. Yeah, I'm not going to bore you with putting everything back together, but look, I'm pretty stoked. The next thing you'll see is it going for its wovey, I guess. Fingers crossed, and there will be a full price breakdown of everything that this car costs and if it was worth it. So if you haven't already, subscribe and I'll see you later.
Now he just has to put it back together. Simple.